Hi, I'm Tylor, and you're watching Coffee and Clix. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe, and click on the link tree found in the description of this video for links to my media content. Enjoy, and don't forget, wake up and smell the Clix. Hi, I'm Tylor, and you're watching Coffee and Clix. Check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel for content related to Heroclix, including interviews, team builds, reviews, unboxings, games, and more. I really appreciate it. And today is a special episode because we're going to be interviewing a group of successful players from the Clix Cup that just recently happened in Florida. So today we welcome Tylor Spees, the 2018 world champion from the Clixed Off podcast. Also, Matty G from Team Phoenix Nest, Brandon Beirne from Team Phoenix Nest, Wesley Allan Summers from Team Phoenix Nest, and PJ Bolin from Team Phoenix Nest, Critical Clix, and the Kilted Clixman. So, hello everybody. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So, I just wanted to jump right in and, ask some questions about the Clix Cup. It was run by David Newmark and also judged by Joe Pancrazio from Clix Nexus, and also another, a team of judges. I just wanted to ask your overall impression, just ask the group your overall impression about how the Clix Cup was run, organized, the level of fun that you guys had, or, experiences that you had, what you missed most about in-person events. You guys could talk about that.
I guess I'll go first. It was my impression was overall very positive. The event, I haven't been to a Heroclix event ran that smoothly in a very long time. Even pre-pandemic, the smoothness of how this event was run. There was no 20-30 minutes in between rounds trying to figure out pairings, this, that, or the other. It was pretty smooth. The hotel was amazing. The food at the banquet was amazing. It was nice to have sort of that old Rock Cup feel of having an event inside of the venue that everyone's staying at. That provided a nice community feel that I think we've really been lacking. So overall, 10 out of 10. Couldn't be happier. Very impressed.
Yeah, Brandon, what do you? Do you have anything to add to that, or?
I have personally, I live an hour from the venue, so I was super happy,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, there were so many people that were able to come down and play. It was amazing. Newmark, David, runs some of the best events that we actually have here in Orlando area, and at Origins a couple of years ago when we were in person, he ran a great event there. And then was able to encore it down here with the Clix Cup. And then at the same time, he did run another event at the Clix Cup too that was a massive success. I'm a little biased on it because my son played in it and did really great in it. But, overall, venue was beautiful. Restaurant was good up there. The banquet food was great. And, just seeing everybody. And it was run very safely. So it was... Yeah. I say overall, I've only been to a few events. I didn't get to go to Worlds in 2019 when they ran it there, but I think this is by far my favorite event that I've seen out there.
How many people would you say were actually at the event?
So,
I
think his number was 115.
70.
I think that's right. That sounds right.
Sounds yes. Modern was 70. There was 22 teams on sealed, which was Saturday, but at the same time there was another event running that had 32 people there, and there was BRs running the whole time. And I think for myself, I saw 5 to 6 BRs running at the same time during sealed.
I bet 150 is a really safe number of unique people who were there over the weekend.
He said minus the Pokemon players. He said he had 115 players in the venue at one time.
Yeah,
if you guys listen to Clix in it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good number.
No, yeah, and I heard I heard something about the Pokemon event too. They had like a alternate like game there too. They were running a they
ran a modern format, best of 1 cut to best of 3. They had 32 players there for it, 31 masters, 1 junior.
Okay. I think the event was organized so Thursday was casual night, right? And then Friday was modern, Saturday was team sealed, and Sunday was Silver Age. And then you said battle royales were also going on throughout the entire weekend. So,
yeah, that's what was going on. At the same time, the venue was open 24 hours a day while we were there. So if you want, like, a lot of people were playing other games too at 1 o'clock in the morning. So there was stuff going the whole time. Even though if it wasn't Clix related, there was other people playing other games.
Yeah, when we were cleaning up after the banquet, there were still people out there playing board games, and like I wouldn't be surprised if they were out until almost 2.
Yeah, and so no, that sounds awesome. And so with Thursday's casual night, that was what was the format for that? Was it like 500 points? What was it?
It was 500 points, Mighty Age. You're allowed to play 1 Chase, 1 Super Rare, and 1 LE. No IDs, no resources. I think that's it.
Yeah. That sounds so casual.
Yeah, and everything was like whatever was left over was rare and below, all the way back to Mighty Thor. Yeah.
So did who took out of this group? Who took part in the casual night on Thursday? Matthew, you did really well in it. I heard you. Did you win it? Or?
Yeah.
Matthew, some scrub won it though.
Matty won it. So what did you play?
It was so casual.
I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday before I left. I was on the phone or in chat with like Wes and PJ, and they had me play. Or I mean, we all agreed. I guess we talked about it, and I played a soldier celebrity Fantastic Four kind of build with 4 Foot Elites, Boomerangs, Super Green Lantern, 2 Marvellas, 2 Fast Force Giant Girls, a regular Giant Girl, all at 10 points, Invisible Woman with Red Hulk Common, Human Torch, Deep Cut, Spider-Man 1776.
So much.
That might have been it. It was like a plus 15 or 16.
Yeah, and those giant girls are like amazing now with the new rules changes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they are.
So
I think so. The things were Invisible Woman. Oh, and it had Flash Thompson and Gwen Stacy to take away shape change and super senses. But the Invisible Woman swapped out Hulk for Black Panther, and the deep cuts Human Torch for Franklin. The 20 point.
He meant Black Leopard.
Franklin with TK. Oh yeah, the Prime Black Leopard.
And so how how would you describe how that team kind of works?
You TK Green Lantern 6, he creates a construct. The construct runs next to the Foot Elites and dies. The Foot Elites get an opportunity token. The Marvellas carry up their squads. One had the 4 Foot Elites, the other one had the 1776, Invisible Woman, Flash, and Gwen. Oh no, Black Leopard. And then they all get surrounded by Green Lantern. He runs up 10 squares, and the Foot Elites do 24 clicks of damage. They need 10s on 17s because of Black Leopard. So, yeah.
It's very casual. Very.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Very casual.
And Brandon, what was your team, by the way? So you were
So
in
I
it as
ran
well.
an Avengers team, but I used Black Leopard Prime, and I used Steve Rogers to bring in Duke Thomas because let's get those numbers as close as we can get.
Yeah.
There using a 2 drop ship method of using Captain Marvel dropping Black Widow because those aren't meta at all, and using Voyager to drop 2 Medusas and whatever else I wanted. And then I had 2 giant girls sitting in the back that were just coming over the top.
Cool.
So I didn't do as good as Matty. I went 2-1 with like a total of like 1,300 points.
Awesome. Yeah. So and that was casual night, and there was from I was reading off of the Clix Cup website that there was 64 players in that casual tournament. The next day was Friday, which was 300 modern, and there was 74 players. And did everybody play in the modern event or?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
Tylor, you won that event. So, you want to talk about what you were playing on that with that in that tournament?
Sure. I was playing it's like an Alpha Strike animal build. You carry up with Spider Ham copying Green Lantern from Chip. I got 3 maggots you can drop. Spider Ham can make an attack. I have Waldo Arms and Spider Ham to make an attack. High Evolutionary Prime to get it, so much prob on top of the 4 I have on the team. It was a whole lot of fun to play. Definitely. Got 1 loss on the day to Joe Alves, who I still have not ever beat in a game of Heroclix. He is very, very good. Yeah, and then I guess it was good. I don't know how much you wanted me to go into like the whole.
No,
the whole
well,
event.
what's funny is actually I play a version of that team. But I think a lot of people play that animal team. But I mean, you're the first person that I've ever seen play without Wendigos and with an extra maggot with 3 maggots.
Yeah, just
So
to go into full alpha. Yeah.
Yeah, just going into full alpha, and I think that's really cool. Also, I never thought to equip Waldo Arms on Hammerai. I think that's a really great idea. People sleep on Waldo Arms, but they're really good.
They do. They're probably my favorite item in modern right now.
And I heard I've been following and like, did you originally have a team version of that team with Scott Porter Pog on it, or?
Yeah, I played that a couple weeks before in Moorhead. I'm not sure if it's better or not. I basically drop a maggot and then I added Porter Pog and I played High Evolutionary at 40. It's probably not better. But that was one of the versions. There was several versions of the team before it finally came to what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
If Porter was legal in the event, you can drop Ultra Humanite for him, and then instead of just TKing with Ultra Humanite, you would carry up with Porter instead of Chip. That's something you could do. It gives you an extra perplex. It gives you an extra sidestep with the Green Lantern team ability. I didn't really have to think about which version was better because it wasn't legal for the event. This version's probably better, but I hadn't thought about it too much.
So what is the Scott Porter Pog? I mean, what was the consideration with him in the team? I mean, what does he do for the team?
Well, so the main thing is he's a wild card, so we can copy Green Lantern team ability. So it gives me an extra sidestep when I'm up there. It gives me options if they happen to kill a Chip or something like that. It's an extra perplex. And it frees up 5 points, which would probably go towards like a Latveria village or some sort of map bonus. So it's a lot of pros and cons to both sides.
Cool. Yeah, no, but I mean, I love that team in general because there's just so many probs. I mean, with High Evolutionary,
It's got 4 on team, yeah. So it's possible 10 a turn. It's possible.
Yeah. No, I've also seen versions of that team where Hammerai gets the Galactus Herald.
Mm-hmm. I hate the Galactus Herald though, so I think it is a waste of points.
It's okay to be wrong, Tyler. It's fine.
I know, and that's why you're over there. Yeah. But I have seen that as well.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, and how did everybody else do with the modern tournament? I mean, what did you guys play? What did you place? How did you? I mean, Matt, you came in second against Tylor in the final game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I actually watched that game. So
Yeah.
What was your experience like in the modern tournament?
Good. I had a lot of fun with the build that kind of Wes came up with, and I wanted to play my flashes, so it was a +10 scientist build. Has a lot of options, a lot of mobility, a lot of range, a lot of threat. But overall, yeah, I had a good time. Yeah, no complaints.
Good. All right. Yeah. No, I saw you had like a scientist build.
I'll let
with,
Wes talk about the build.
Yeah, that's
Go
probably
ahead,
fair.
Wes. Yeah.
In fairness, the build is not mine alone. George Massey did help with it. But in fact, he's the primary progenitor of it. But the build was 2 high evolutionaries, double flash, 40-point Valeria Richards, 40-point Mr. Oz, Nathaniel Richards at 25 points, Claire Finn at 25 points, Giganta Prime at 25 points. For a +10 scientist theme team.
Molecule Man.
Don't forget Molecule Man. Yeah. He's kind of important. Yeah, the build is pretty alpha strikey. 2, maybe not as full commit as Mr. Tylor Spees is, but it has full map reach. It can do things like pulse wave the back row, which some opponents may not see coming, and definitely earn me a victory or two. So it's a very versatile build. And because its theme is so high, sort of like with Tylor's, just because you kill one thing doesn't mean that the build sort of stops. It's dispersed enough amongst multiple figures that it can take a loss or two and still keep going, which is nice.
So both Matthew's team and or Matty's team and Tylor's team have full map reach pretty much. So how much of the outcome of the game is dependent on who goes first?
A lot.
Probably a lot.
A lot. In the game with Tylor and Matty at the end, Matty actually has a +1 map advantage over Tylor, right? And had the map roll gone another way, it would have been a drastically different game. No shots fired at anyone, but I think it's fair to say that it would have been a drastically different game had Matty won map. And that's sort of the meta as a whole right now.
I was just gonna follow with that. Yeah.
The length of the map is now 0, right? It essentially means nothing. The map could be 4 squares long, or instead of 24 squares long, and it wouldn't make a difference, because a lot of the meta is just going out and whoever can hit your opponent first, hit them hardest, and hopefully debilitate them. And that's essentially where the meta is right now.
Is that good or bad, or neither?
Oh, it's
a double-edged sword on that.
It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say whether it's good or bad. Sort of uniquely, though, I would say that the meta, even though it is very Alpha Strike heavy, is still very diverse. So I think our meta is extremely healthy right now. I don't think that a single few 4 or 5 game elements have just like an overwhelming advantage over the others. Now that being said, obviously maggots and flashes are probably like in the S tier of the meta right now. Maggots, flashes, sky tyrants. But that being said, you usually don't see those 3 elements on the same team because they don't have tremendous synergy with each other. So I mean, you could build a team that created synergy around them, but it's not necessarily how you usually want things to go. So that being said, the entire meta is very Alpha Strike heavy, which is fine. It is what it is. But I would still say it's extremely healthy.
Okay, and I mean, would everybody agree with that it's a healthy meta, or?
Yeah, and another point to that is the games are at least exciting, right? Versus like if we're in the
Yeah.
alternative where it's turtle meta, right? Where everybody's just defensing up and making, 6 attacks each a game and then time gets called.
Mhm.
That's no fun for anybody, right? And
I
so
mean, we did
in
have
a game
4
where-
separate different teams, like 4 different teams in top 4.
Top 4.
Yeah. All the top 4 was 4 different.
4 different
Four
teams. Yeah.
Well, just an interesting. The top 4 Spider Ham at 60 was the most expensive piece in the top 4 teams. So think about that.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the point revenue that's on characters now is ridiculous, right?
Oh, you mean never mind. Point value. Never mind.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah,
there, was Scott not playing Jason Lingard?
Scott did not make top 4, did he?
He didn't play
No, he
Jason.
did.
Yeah.
Did he play Jason?
I don't remember. I don't
No.
actually.
He didn't. No, I think Sky Tyrant was the most expensive piece.
Yeah, he had Sky Tyrant, Double Flash, Dark Phoenix,
Chip.
Commissioner, Harry Leland, Marvella, Dark
Marvella.
Phoenix.
Right. Yeah.
Sky
So
Tyrant
so
at 100
flashes.
or at 50? No,
50.
100.
At 50.
50.
Oh, okay.
50.
No one plays Sky Tyrant at 100.
Okay.
Unless
He
it's
doesn't-
sealed.
he doesn't
Yeah.
have Quake at 100. And if you're not playing him on the Quake click, then you're just playing him wrong.
Wait, who? Oh, he doesn't have Quake it on. You're right. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, 60 points is the highest point piece in the top 4 teams. So
Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing, or that the figures are so low point costed?
It's
Well,
always better for people to get to play more of their pieces. I will argue that to the grave.
that's a fine argument. There is another argument that people who like to play tentpole pieces are kind of out of luck right now because they can't compete point for point.
We saw that in round 1 of Modern too, where we had an individual who ran a 300-point piece who didn't get to do anything because he was locked down by barrier. They were just dropping barrier, shooting him,
Sure.
raising barrier back up.
It was Molecule Man alone that locked him out. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you did
Yeah.
see some tentpole teams in the tournament. They just didn't do well.
Kinda.
Hopefully they didn't do
Well,
well. Yeah.
I consider Double Null a tentpole team,
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
and it should have made top 8, right? Like
I didn't see the game.
full realistic. Like I got really lucky beating him in top 16.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you played him.
Yeah, it was like that's a matchup for me that's just horrible.
Mhm.
And he only hit 1 shape change. So, I have to
Oh,
hit
okay.
5 turns.
Mhm.
I have to hit 5 attacks in 1 turn to kill a null. And I did that on turn 3 and turn 4 because he missed all his rollouts.
Gotcha. Okay.
So PJ, you had a really good team too. I saw your article in Majestics about it. The robot team with the four Supermen. and
Yeah.
The constructs. So you want to talk about that team a little bit?
Sure. So I played Danger Room Magneto, Danger Room Sabretooth, Danger Room Sinister. Sinister had the Herald Dial from Galactus because it's amazing. I played Jim Hammond. I played Mad Thinker Prime and 4 Superman for a +9 robot team. The team itself plays like, if you know other gaming terminology, it plays a lot of tempo, a lot like
Okay.
tempo in card games and things. It's where I just try to use low cost interactions to like maintain the lead on pacing through the whole game. So like most of my attacks are only dealing 1 damage, but then eventually the Superman hits somebody for 5, right? Like, and then that usually just seals a game. Because 5 one-shots most things, and it one-shots things through stop clicks. So it's very, very good as long as people aren't rolling super senses against his attacks. That's a thing. But the team is amazing. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's super budget friendly. Because like my sideline was a little bit expensive, but I hardly used it. So the most expensive piece on there is Galactus, obviously, but everyone has access to that. Otherwise, everything is super cheap. Superman, Magneto, Sabretooth, Jim Hammond are all uncommon rarity and lower. And yeah, I get that the constructs are technically primes, but you can buy Sabretooth and Magneto together for less than $10.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like a pauper team, pretty much.
Yeah, it really is. And it plays really well. It's pretty easy to pilot at the baseline because there's low risk in most of the things you're doing. If they score all of your easy points, so the 4 Supermans in the gym, you're only down 75 points. And it usually takes 5 or 6 attacks to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a good trade, right? And, I my only losses on the day were to Tylor twice. So, and, Poison's real good. Oh, sorry about that.
So it's kind of almost like a swarm team, or would you maybe not like?
It has swarming aspects for sure, but I don't really consider it swarmy. It's more of like don't die.
Okay.
But like I said, I think tempo is the most accurate way to describe it.
Okay.
Because like Magneto got a huge buff with the knockback change, where it's 3 squares of knockback and you choose the direction that it goes. So like knocking 2 figures 6 squares away from each other, or pulling 2 figures 3 squares closer to you for other attacks is just such a big deal. But yeah.
And for those people who don't know about the, because you said that the Superman can deal 5 damage through stop clicks. It's because the Superman has it's the Justice Lord Superman, so it has the Justice Lord's trait, which deals, I think it deals like a penetrating after resolution.
I think it's an unavoidable.
It's unavoidable.
Unavoidable?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
So it even kills Stop Invincible. That's the big deal. So because Stop Invincible is a thing on High Evo. So if you can punch a High Evo or shoot a High Evo and get lucky, like I did against one of our other teammates, it would just one-shot them. So Superman's great. He's drastically underrated for 10 points. Even if just for sidestep flight and then the threat that he brings to the table. And then he has an 18 toughness, so he doesn't die on accident too much. It usually takes like some type of commit.
Yeah, no, I love that Superman. He's really good. Yeah.
I would be playing 30 of him as a modern team. I might do that in Ohio for the upcoming event. I don't know yet.
And Brandon, what was your team? What did you play in the modern?
So I ran a Laverian team, which is like +6 only.
Okay.
I ran a Sky Tyrant with Wonder Woman, Giganta, Molecule Man. What else did I have on it?
Valeria.
I have Valeria Richard, which is like literally perfect for this build, but because of the picking TK and the double perplex. And then I was running Wonder Woman. I did so bad with it, I don't even remember the rest of the team right now. I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn to save my day. Even like one game with one of our other Phoenix Nest members, we literally went to time sitting there just with a Sky Tyrant versus somebody else just swinging, and we couldn't hit. We were just like sitting there fighting in the middle on it. But it was using the switch out force with it. Taking Sky Tyrant brings Wonder Woman across. Sky Tyrant does Sky Tyrant things, hits, runs, leaving Wonder Woman behind. Wonder Woman does a double in cap or single in cap with leadership.
Okay.
Does the attack. Usually use the perplex into Giganta's attack, sitting in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Perplex up her attack, send Giganta over to quake the entire team, and then switch out to the other Wonder Woman armor, giving her defend, doing another end cap if I need to at the same time. So like Giganta's sitting there with a 19 defend on her, which is nice.
Yeah, that's a crazy combo with Wonder Woman and Giganta too. I think there had to be something.
Yeah, and I ran Giganta at 25 points too, which is the only way to make it work on that at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I was running Dooms. That's what I forgot about.
Yeah.
The Dooms were on there. That's how I got a Laverian. I can't believe I actually forgot that. But then I was most of the time with people who were running a ton of characters like Animal, Scientist, robots, trying to go to Four-Arm Doom to try to drop their action economy down because a lot of people were having issues with the action economy. And one of the things that we've talked about for a while is with the rules change and everything, was Theme Team going to be, was it going to take a step down or step up? And as you're sitting here talking to the 5 of us, every single person ran a Theme Team. And the numbers are going up the whole time. I mean, 6, to me, I didn't win map the entire run on it because everybody was 2 to 3 above me the whole time. And it was just one of those things where it's just like, okay, you've got to ramp up your numbers because everybody's coming big.
Well, do you think it's a must play to run a theme team, even with the new rules?
If you're going to go for an alpha strike, you've got to run theme to win map.
Yeah.
I mean, Scott.
I was about
Yeah.
to say, don't tell that to Josafa.
Or
No, that's
yeah.
true. There are people out there who are doing amazing jobs with it. But I mean, my personal opinion is I think you have to run themed on it. I mean, especially if you don't have onboard prob, you're banking on those theme team probs, right? And now with the alpha being able to take theme team probs with them going down, that's a big thing, right? Before, like, you were going out, like some of these alpha strikes that we'd send out there, if you were banking on this to hit because they were stuck out there by themselves. Now they're taking the theme team prob with them.
Yeah.
Another thing to point out compared to like Clix of old is WizKid's game design lately has made it to where you're not playing bad figures to get to a theme team. Because it used to be, if you're trying to play like a shield team with Nick Fury back in the day, you had to play bad pieces to get there. But now you're not making that sacrifice. Like look at Latveria, look at Scientist, look at Robot. Like, no, nobody was playing a bad piece just to fit theme. Like, everything was fantastic on the build.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, props to WizKids on, keeping their keywords good.
I will say this: I've been very lucky not having to live through the history you guys have lived through with all the WizKids design and all that. I came on board to Heroclix when What If came out, so very junior on as far as like the span of them. But I have looked back over the golden age and been like shaking my head.
Let's talk about the Saturday event, which was Wes. Actually, I never got to your build in Modern. So you built for Matty, but did you also?
Yeah,
I ran the same thing.
Oh, you ran the same team?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about Saturday then. Team sealed. How did we do with team sealed? There were 66 players in team sealed on Saturday. 22 teams. I mean, for those people that they're watching that are not familiar with team sealed, maybe can someone explain how it works and what was your experience like at that tournament?
So team sealed's pretty simple. It's get a team of 3. You each assign spots A, B, and C to where you'll sit at the table. So if team 1 is playing team 2, the A players play each other, the B players play each other, the C players play each other. Then you get your team figured out and you open 6 boosters and you build 3 300-point teams out of those 6 boosters. You're obviously allowed to interchange between who opens what and just build the best 3 teams you can.
Then it's just a sealed tournament, pretty much, right?
Yeah, it's just sealed like normal. Your goal is to win 2 out of the 3 games in each round in order to win the round. And
who won the team sealed event?
Myself, Edward Shelton, and Lucas Van Holland.
All right. So how did you guys pull? What was your experience like in that?
So we pulled really well. And it's awkward to say because we didn't pull a Chase or a Prime, but we pulled 2 super rares, but it was Flash and Green Lantern, which are arguably 2 of the best ones to pull. So Edward was our A player, and he played a Justice League theme team with 75-point Green Lantern, 100-point Mary Shazam, 75-point Common Wonder Woman, with 2 Amazon Warriors on the side to generate, and a Maxwell Lord. So it was like a +4 Justice League. He was 21 from range, and in a set with no perplex, that's oppressive. And he got matchup lucky in like every game. He went against all teams that were relying on ranged attacks. So, 11 on 21 isn't exactly reliable.
Mm-hmm.
He, I think, lost 1 game on the day, and he lost map, and it was still really, really close. I was the B player. We'll skip to Lucas because my team was the hodgepodge. Lucas played a deity theme team that was 2 uncommon Apollo and 2 common Cersei, which was probably the best team in the entire field, just because it's a theme. Apollo has all the ridiculous improved targeting for elevated and hindering. So I think Lucas won map every game and went to Otherworld Castle and just parked up on the elevated and was shooting down. But the other scary thing about that team is it has 4 probs on dial. And then if they ever get hit and lose the prob, he has then 3 theme probs to use. So it's just an overwhelming amount of prob, especially in sealed. So we built them both theme teams. So I just kind of took all the good stuff that was left and threw it on a build. So I played the Flash at 30. I played Wonder Girl at 75. I played Jason at 75. Star Sapphire at 25. Dr. Psycho at 45. And Harley Quinn at 50. So like I had double TK. I had barrier. I had prob with Harley. But like the double TK was insane because I could TK out Flash, charge and hit you, charge back, and then TK back. So like I couldn't be outreached by another team. Overall, the event obviously went well for us since we won. But we went undefeated as a team. In Swiss, we were the 1 seed going into Top Cut, and we won out there as well. My only losses on the day were to Scott twice because he's a jerk. He had a theme team and he won map. It took me an ancient hold, and I couldn't really commit because he would block the doors. And then each time, like both games were super close. But luckily, even though he beat me, Ed was able to beat other Ed, and Lucas was able to beat Esbrook. So that was fairly lucky. We played them in Swiss and in Top Cut.
And then PJ, you actually won the overall Clix Cup award, right? It was you and Matty G were first and second in the by 1 point.
I'm gonna say I won on a technicality, right? Because the casual night didn't give any points, and if it did, Matt wins easily.
Yeah,
no argument. And I realistically, if Matty didn't say something to me on Saturday, I would have never known that I was supposed to win. So, because they announced Matt as the winner Sunday, before they went back and looked at it and determined it was actually me. But if I wouldn't have known, then I don't know, and nobody ever would have said anything, I guess.
In my defense,
okay,
I thought the point system was the same for all 3 days. So Friday first got 5, second got 3, third got 1. Same for Saturday, and then Sunday first was 3, second was 2 for some reason, and third was 1. So when we went into Sunday after top 4, it was me and Wes in the finals, and I was like, oh well, I have 3 points anyways, even if I lose, so it doesn't matter. So that's when they announced that I was the cup champion, and then they went back on and they're like, whoa, no, second place only gets 2 points. For some odd reason, they just changed the point system on Sunday. There's no points for casual.
Yeah, that's why I say I won. Yes, I won, but it should have probably been Matt.
Well, I mean, everybody did. Everybody here, did amazing at the Clix Cup. You guys did great jobs. PJ, you also came in. Was it third or fourth in the modern event?
Third. Very important that it's third because Scott was fourth. He was behind me. He is the lower tier of our podcast.
How many points?
He was in the lower tier.
By 10 points.
By 10 points.
So all they did to measure third and fourth was how you did in the semifinal game. So Tylor beat me and gave me 40 points because I killed High Evo and 2 Grods. And then he only scored 30 points on Matt. So I beat him by 10.
And there was a time where Scott's like, "Oh, I'll throw the power gem or like he was gonna try to throw an item to kill one of my pieces." And I was like, "Yeah, go ahead. It's like a 10 on like a 21." And he's like, "Well, Never mind.
Yeah, he could have thrown it at your TK flash to kill it, but needing an 11. But then he equipped it instead just to be funny with Marvella, and he could have tried to roll the 11 to tie me.
He was funny. That was funny.
It's even more funny now.
Yeah.
He was so bummed. Like the difference in pricing was $100 and a trophy, right? He didn't care about the money, but he was super bummed about the trophy. So, I got to give him a lot of shit about that. And so I guess David agreed to make him a 4th place trophy, and I'm going to ask David to make sure it's about 10 points smaller.
That's great.
And so Sunday was the Silver Age tournament. I believe that was Silver Age 400 points. There were 60 players, 60 players in the Silver Age tournament. Wes, you won that tournament, right?
Yes, sir.
So it was Wes and Matty in the finals.
Real quick, what was the ban list for? I didn't even look. Was there one?
Goblin King.
And the tradition.
They just observed the WizKids ban list, which
added.
By the way, Goblin King should not be on. Just want to put that in the universe. Goblin King should not be on the ban list. But
I thought the WizKids one only had Penguin and the
I think it was closer to the Scott Porter Invitational ban list for Silver Age. I think it was closer to that.
No, it was just the Penguin, Blackbird, and Goblin King, and then they put the restriction for where you can only play one ID.
Oh, one ID.
Two IDs. It was two IDs, one colossal retail, or one retail.
Yeah, so there were more restrictions, but not more bans.
Okay. And so Wes, was the finals in the Silver Age tournament was Wes and Matthew, Matty G here. I'm saying Matthew because it says it on your it says it on the screen.
You're fine.
Okay. So Wes, you won that against Matty, and what was your build that you what did you play?
So Matty and I played the exact same thing again. We took our 300 modern team and we added DJ Doom and a 3rd Flash. There was one difference between our builds. Mine had a Wolverine ID. His had a Cyclops ID.
Okay. And so what was the game like then? How did the game play out?
It's a nail biter.
Like our 3rd time playing this weekend. In 300 modern, we played each other in the last round of Swiss. In 400 silver, we played each other in the last round of Swiss, and then we played each other again in the finals. So we were at the point of we knew each other's what we were going to do pretty well. Obviously, we were playing the same team, and we had played each other multiple times, so we kind of knew how this was going to go. I caught him early on a mistake. He didn't wild card his Wonder Woman TA.
You outwitted it anyways.
Yeah, true. But so I was able to give Flash Quake, and I scored 2 of his flashes and knocked a high Evo down a dial, and then I was able to kill his Nathaniel Richards. And me being stupid and not knowing how to play this game, he was able to then respond by killing my Molecule Man and my Flash. And in my mind, I said, okay, the game's tied now. That means I have to go. The game was not tied. I was ahead, and I killed 20 minutes trying to figure out how to advance on him when I didn't have to. So, that happened. It's my fault. But as I realized it when there was 5 minutes left, and I retreated and tried to defend myself, and he was able to come over and kill my Nathaniel Richards and a Flash to get ahead by 30 points. And then on last action, I retailed and killed his Flash to tie the game on last action. So it came down to a roll-off, which I won 4-3.
Nice.
Who rolled first, though?
Yeah, let's say whose dice hit first.
Better be the same time.
Well, so we rolled the same time. Matty originally had won, except that his dice was cocked. So he had to
No, we
re-roll.
both rolled a 4.
Mm.
We both rolled a 4. You rolled a 3 and a 1, and I rolled a 3 and a 1, and my 3 was cocked. So Joe came over and he said, "Okay, you got to re-roll it." And then you said, "What? He should balance it." And then I picked him up and I rolled it, and it was a 3, a 2 and a 1.
Oh, so you re-rolled a 4 into a 3. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
And then Brandon, you are credited as being the first ever Silver 8, first ever in a official sanctioned tournament to win with a mission point build.
Yeah, mission points team. So yeah, that was fun. One on the exact first game too, which was awesome because just a shout out to the day before we were playing teams. Calder Ness was on my team for Team America when we got top 8. Didn't know that we were actually both going to be playing mission points the next day too. So it was kind of like, it turned out to be like a race at the end that we didn't even know we were racing each other until the final action got called. But yeah, I ran a mission points team. I had been tinkering with the mission points for a while with the whole team and everything, saying like, hey, look, I think there's something that we can do here with it, but I don't think it's going to be able to like last the long game of like going against everybody, because once it gets out that you can do this with this team, that everybody's going to be stacking against you right off the bat, right? So I had a lot of stuff that worked in my favor from game 1. I got taken indoors, which is what I love going indoors with this team, and then I played a robots team who was only dealing 1 damage at a time, so totally happy with that. But I mean, the main basis on the team was Ares, running Ares on there, and then running a Photon and a Moon Dragon. And that's how the team actually works. I roll the dice, give you the bystander on it, 4 through 6. I have Wesley there to give me a reroll and leadership if I need it. Also running...
You're welcome.
Yeah, it didn't work all that much on the other games. But no, so I also run the map bonus. So in case like I lose map, which I lost map every game, but it gave me the automatic leadership turn 1, which is what I needed to hit. So turn 1 leadership, I give you a bystander, and I always gave you the German soldier, and then I placed the allied next to myself. Photon at that point would go ahead and voop your character, your bystander over. So now you don't have first round immunity on this character because it's been produced after the start of the game. Would bring it over. Wesley would perplex down the defense, and then Moondragon would modify damage on the allied soldier by 1. And Moondragon works where after the attack of whoever you perplex, you get to deal 1 unavoidable damage to any one of your characters. So we do the KO, kill it, give the unavoidable damage to the allied. Right off the bat, we're at 2 Endless War tokens on it. Barrier up, 3 Marvellas and a Molecule Man. Just put tons of walls up and pass turn. And literally, I will say this though, it was an epic battle because the guy kept coming in at me the whole time on it. But it was turn 5. I didn't have to roll leadership anymore. I just needed to survive to the beginning of turn 7 with myself at the point count. When it came down to turn 7 for him, my Ares was still alive and my Photon was still alive. And well, pretty much the entire team except for 2 Marvellas and Molecule Man were there because he only scored 60 on it. Was able to come across, and I know most people were wondering what I was doing, but I literally had my hand under the table shaking because I didn't think this was going to work the entire weekend, shaking. And as he's doing his actions, I'm flicking my finger out. 1 action, 2 action, 3 action, 4 action. He has leadership on his time, 5 action. I asked him, "Are you done?" He goes, "Yes, clear." I stuck my hand right across the table and goes, "Hey, good game." That was mission points. And it went up to 21 mission points for the win on there. Totally, the guy was like amazing person to play against, but it was one of those things where it was just like, I thought I had screwed up. Mission points 21. I stood up, signed the paper, turned around, and everybody was still playing. And And it's like with mission point testing, it's always been to like the wire.
Yeah.
On like blowing on. So turn around, look, it's all been done. It's just like, all right, take it up there. I was misunderstood on the rules of mission points. I thought that I would actually get the win with 0 points was what my goal was, so I could stay at the very bottom of the group. But the way WizKids rules it is, since if you wins your opponent on an alternate win condition, you get their full build.
So for those people who don't know that are watching, I think the Photon and that Moondragon, they're both chases from Avengers Infinity, right?
Yep, Avengers Infinity. Yep, they're both chases from that set right there. So they're both rotated up. They're both silver now.
Yeah, so Photon like places an opposing bystander adjacent, right, or something like that. It, like basically.
Yeah, adjacent to them, and then Moondragon does the actual splash over damage.
That's really cool. It's a great combo with Ares. And
yeah, so I will give it up to. There's 2 people on the team who helped me work on this. I did the majority of the basis of it, but Tom and PJ both ran it through them a couple times in their heads, asking them to like, hey, let me see what we can do here on it. And I mean, overall, it was a team event at the same. I mean, team came through with it, but I mean, I think it's a fun team, honestly.
And you know,
I had a blast playing it.
I just have something to say about Molecule Man too. What a great figure! I mean, I saw he's been mentioned in a lot of teams that we've been talking about. I saw a post on Facebook. Somebody was asking like, what's the best figure under 40 points? And I said Dark Phoenix, but I saw like PJ had said like Molecule Man. I'm like, oh yeah, Molecule Man. He's really good. Like,
Molecule Man alone is probably the most important figure in meta out there, in my personal opinion on it. I mean, everybody has like their own spin on it, but I mean, like if you look at the majority teams who are out there for cups and stuff like that, for the cup and everything.
And I think a lot of people would agree with you. Molecule Man is one of those pieces that if you're playing theme and you can fit him on it, you should. If you're playing non-theme and you're not playing him, you're probably wrong.
Yep, he's the best non-attacker in the game, and that's unarguable. I don't care what anybody says. And then he's arguably the best piece in Modern.
Does everybody agree with that, or?
I think it's because of his keywords. He probably is.
I agree. I mean, his keywords are awesome on it alone, right? So, I mean, like that point value of 30 points.
Well, he's sort of uniquely positioned as a figure that can both enable an alpha and prevent an alpha, right? And so that's the meta, right? That we were talking about how strong Alpha Strike is.
How's he enable alpha?
He takes down opposing barriers that you can't.
Oh, I guess if you carry up, that's true.
You could also have him
run out, right?
Well, you could also carry him up barrier, and it helps you approach too, I guess.
I mean, he's got that beautiful range of 8, right? After 7 movement with a range of 8, that if you need to take down that one piece of barrier, somebody who's running low barrier, just to get your strike in there.
I don't know. But so I mean, after the entire event, like the Clix Cup, what do you guys think? Were there any teams that you faced or that you saw that impressed you guys, or like they were surprising?
I was surprised to see triple Jason teams and how many there were.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Yeah. There were like, and even the ones of that group that weren't playing triple Jason were playing like double Jason Doom.
Which I do want to say props to Eric Mulhane. He piloted that team, I think, to top 8. I want to say.
What team?
In Modern, and then he again piloted it to top, I want to say 4 in Silver. He just added a Doom and essentially did the same thing I did. Props to him. He is a member of Team Juggernaut, and he deserves accolades for doing so well with that team.
It was a double Jason team?
It was double Jason,
and DJ Doom and Spider Pharaoh in Modern.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Okay.
And again, it did really, really well. And he piloted it very well. He didn't slow play. He did it expediently. Only feedback on the build, and I understand why it was there. I just think that playing an emotional modifier on a Jason build is risky. But beyond that, I think it's a very good build.
Well, why DJ? I feel like there's better. Like, do you switch out?
I mean, dice replacements, right, are a thing.
So he already has the right keywords. He's already ruler.
Yeah.
And if you win map, you get to roll his dice and see what your replacements are first. So if you roll well enough on your replacements, you just leave them in. Otherwise, if you roll terribly, like 3-3 or 4-4, you just swap them out, and you're not hurt.
Okay.
But if you don't have a Doom that's good for the particular matchup, just leave him in and have your replacements. He's fine. He can still carry a Jason really well.
Yeah.
Tylor, I also really liked on your teams. You guys mentioned the emotional modifier. I didn't even mention that on your team. That's such a great add to that animal build, because it gives all especially any alpha strike. You're giving everybody -1 defense. That's crazy.
And then you're switching to -1 attack, so you double dip on it. Yeah, it's really good. It's better than I thought it was. It's always super helpful, and then there are some matchups where the hate version, the Battle Fury, giving that out just sort of doesn't win it for you, but it makes it a lot easier. Like I was
really
not
helps versus Batman, right?
Batman is one of them. The Jason team is good, and then I was never really worried about the double null team because they're not going to shape change against me, and I have exploit. So,
did you run into any Lord Dooms?
One in the final round of Swiss, Lucas, LTVH. Yeah.
But you were able to get through that, so.
Yeah, I was. Things kind of went well for me. Was able to roll his the Wall of Worms thing to get the free attack on my first turn. So when I moved up, I could kill. I killed a Dark Phoenix, and then I sidestepped with Chip to place, and then killed a Valeria as well. So I was up 60 points on the alpha. I didn't get to make anything, but I'm up 60 points. He's down on attack from the emotional modifier, and he's swinging into 18s, and I have the prob. So, there's definitely options.
You also rolled the 6 with Humanite.
Oh yeah, I did. I rolled the 6 with Humanite. That's kind of key, because then his Sky Tyrant's double token on the second turn as well, so he didn't have much attack.
And that's why you killing Valeria was so important, because you took leadership out.
Yep. Yeah. So it's not like an auto loss against Lord Doom. You still do have some stuff. It's mainly just you move up, you punch whatever you can with Spider-Ham, the highest value target, and then you perplex somebody's defense up twice. You say -1 to attack, and then you hope your rollouts and probs get you through the next turn.
Nice. So so I think we talked a lot about the Clix Cup. I also want to talk about the upcoming set. Hopefully when it arrives, Rise and Fall, X-Men Rise and Fall. What is a couple questions about Rise and Fall. What's one figure you're excited to play most? How does the set affect the current state of the meta? Do you think the meta is well? We already talked about how it's balanced, so we already talked about that. And do you think there are any figures that should get watch listed?
Okay,
from silver or modern?
So let's start with figure you want to build around, or team you want to build around in Rise and Fall.
Blackheart. I said it first.
I knew you were going to.
All right, so Tylor gets the pick for that one.
So do you have anything you thinking of running with Blackheart, or you just like him?
Just in general, he's really good. He's got really good keywords. Obviously, you can switch him out with Magneto, so it expands it a ton. He's just super solid. He's so fun. He's such a fun piece because you're generating stuff, you're doing free actions, you're healing up.
You're clearing tokens.
You're clearing tokens a ton. I kind of like to play 2 of them because they sort of work well together because they get the leadership to generate more things that they can both use. But yeah, he also has Mystics, which isn't a huge negative because I don't even think it's. I talked about this a few nights ago. I think Mystics is just good now. It's just good.
Yep.
It's not bad anymore. It was bad for like 3 years. It was a negative to have on your piece, and now I think it's just good. Which was kind of crazy to realize. And then obviously he's got 2 stop clicks that he can heal off of with Mystic, so that makes it
with
obviously
Mastermind too. Stop
Mastermind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, if anybody remembers, Star Fox is very annoying to get through.
Nobody ever played that. Though the 2 chases that Brandon held up earlier, they don't have stop click Mastermind. It's fine.
It was never
ever.
the biggest, most annoying thing. Yeah. Yeah, he's a lot of fun to play. I mean, I practiced with him a little bit, but hopefully, I'm hoping that team turns out the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Brandon, what is your favorite figure from Rise and Fall that's been shown?
So as like the running joke, Phoenixness is there's 2 sets there's 2 like groups of comic book heroes that I just do not like at all, which is X-Men and anything DC. I'm a big Marvel fan. But like everything I've been playing is X-Men DC lately, anyways, with a little bit of changes. So like I do have one character that I really like. It's one of my heart pieces. Is Omega Red Prime. I think it's just a fun looking character. I love to pull him in sealed. But as far as team building is concerned, I'm actually really looking forward to like number 49 Dakin. The one that says once it hits, it takes away your ability to heal, and it also takes away the ability to use stop clicks on that character. But for a lot of characters that have stop clicks, I mean, just hitting, and it just says hit. So, I mean, it doesn't like I have to stick damage with you or anything along that line.
Let me look it up. So, which one is it? It's
number 49. I mean, he's a little heavy on the point wise when we start talking about points. He's 70 points, which puts him at the higher end, but I mean, when Dakin hits, each hit character, or give each hit character a poison token. Characters with poison tokens can't be healed and can't use. Yeah. So I think that has some potential there. I like for my team building wise is looking at putting like maybe a ring on him or something like that to do maybe some mind control, so he can hit with the mind control. Doesn't have to like stick anything with it, and it's got a range, so we can get through stop clicks and stuff like that.
Okay. And anybody else have a figure that they're looking at for Rise and Fall?
I want to hear Wes's.
If I had to put I'm going to give 2 answers to this question because I think it's worthy of noting. I think Swap Tech in general is about to be moved up to like an S tier. That we haven't seen. The guys on the Nest know this. For me, this sort of swap tech is how ID cards should have worked. This is how ID cards should have been, and I think that swap tech in general is going to have a massive impact on the meta to the point of potentially destabilizing it to just boil it down to X-Men and Brotherhood. That's a possibility. If I'm going to narrow it down to one figure though that I'm really excited to play, rumor has it I'm an Exodus fanboy. Exodus is definitely on my list of figures to play. He has a mind control that gets through stop clicks. He has a mind control that can kill danger room robots. Hey, that's a nice danger room Magneto you have there. Why don't you go kill 2 Supermen and then die? So the ability to do that is not an insignificant thing. And if you're talking about something that will be watch listed, I could totally see Exodus getting a watch list to apply only to opposing figures to prevent the gene bomb, which is of course out there now.
Yeah, and so I mean, for those people watching that don't know the Gene Bomb, it's Exodus and Jean Grey from X-Men the Animated Series, where Jean Grey from X-Men the Animated Series, the Jean Grey chase can be mind controlled by friendlies, and so you send her out, you mind control her with Exodus, You send her out full map or as far as you can, and then she takes damage. Well, you have Exodus equipped with the power gem, so he's dealing 6 damage, and then he's KOing your friendly Jean Grey in their starting zone, right? Am I right?
Minor caveat. So he only gets the ranged combat expert whenever he's dealing damage with the attack.
Okay.
He wouldn't get the ranged combat expert damage buff for the mind control. He would, however, get the +1 damage effect from the power gem itself. So that does 5 clicks, which is actually perfect to get Jean to her stop click.
Right. Okay.
You wouldn't want to do 6 because if you deal, like for instance with the power gem, if you roll a 10 through 12 and you do that extra damage, Jean just dies.
And you don't blow up.
Because it goes through the stop click, and like PJ said, you don't blow up.
Oh, okay. So Exodus would deal Jean Grey 5 damage, put her at the stop click, and then she would blow up and deal. I think she deals 3 damage to everything within 6 squares, regardless of line of fire. So that would take out like a lot of retaliators and things like that.
Well, more than retaliators, it just takes out most of the meta. Because
I want to point this out. Look at the build that Wes and Matt played.
Yeah.
How much of this stuff dies to that?
The entire team. Like we have Valeria Richards left, and that's it. that's Valeria Richards and Giganta on last click. That's it. That's all that survives.
Matty or PJ, what's your figure that you're trying to build?
Do you got one? Because I'm going to do a list of.
I mean, I don't really. I'm excited to play the Swap Tech Magneto and Swap Tech Professor X, but besides it, whatever builds my teammates come up with, I'm excited to play.
But
I like the Swiss Army stuff.
So I think nobody mentioned the piece that's going to get the most play out of this set, and that'll be the Hellfire Club Guard.
Yeah. You get a whole bunch of those.
He's probably the best piece in the set, like standalone.
Easily need 10. This
like to Tyler's point, you have to have him to play Blackheart. He gives Mastermind to Dark Phoenix, which is obviously good. He gives Mastermind to Jason Lingard, who we just talked about. Like it does so much. I think Multiple Man is worth noting because he's really good. And Mimic Prime is another one that I think is going to see a bunch of play.
Oh, I hope he does. I tried to build with him earlier. It's so hard. He's so expensive, and the points are so hard to make work.
The swap tech helps him though, Tyler, right? Like the swap tech helps a lot, right? And if you begin to look at options for Mimic, I think that low dial Krakoa almost has to be there
for the Invincible. Right? Yeah, that's what I.
And stealth.
And well, I mean, he
Moira
gets stealth from Moira, right? So then I mean, just whenever you and again, I know you don't like it, but Galactus style looks really good on on Mimic. But I think that if you want to look at a character that has the ability to return to the tentpole in the modern meta, I would say that Prime Mimic has the best shot of any tentpole that I've seen.
Yep, I agree with that.
I think he's better than Prime Gladiator.
I don't think Prime Gladiator is a tentpole.
He's not half the build, right?
Is half the build is that the cutoff?
Yeah, 150 points or more is about.
That seems probably fair. Seems probably fair.
I think Null kind of counts at 125, but that's still pushing it to me. I only called it tentpole earlier because it was double Null.
Yeah, he's playing 2.
Yeah.
Well, there's one other support piece that's like a backup piece that's just going to be amazing out of this set. I think a lot of people are going to run anyways, and that's number 45 Tempo.
Yep.
Tempo's real good.
Is going to help out so many people.
There's another one, Sentinel, the common Sentinel.
It's
going to be on everybody's sideline, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Diamond Patch, of course, is definitely worthy of. Whoa, that face, Tyler! I was not ready. I was not ready for that. Are you serious?
he's all right.
Okay.
I like Weapon Hex better, I think.
If there was a imaginary tier list, I'd put him about a B. You know?
Oh, not an imaginary tier list.
Yeah, just hypothetical.
Well, again, you have to remember, right? We have swap tech, right? So if we don't see stealth or shape change or keywords that we don't like, we just swap him out, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's only there whenever he needs him. And this is another point that I made sort of within the team, and might as well just state it now. I think it's really interesting, the keyword play, but in two of the major instances that we've gotten keyword play recently, which is both Spider-Man Family and X-Men and Brotherhood. I'm going to group those two together. We both got ways to deal with super senses and shape change, very explicit, and I think that's a really, really interesting thing that WizKids did.
Do you guys think Rally's going to be showing up anywhere, or that you like Rally?
If Prime Mimic does it. If Prime Mimic works, then it will be for sure. Obviously,
I could see maybe like Polaris.
I could see Polaris. I could see Marvel Girl, and also there are a few of those commons and uncommons that have the ability to replace their attack roll with their rally die, and that should not be slept on.
Maybe like Destiny.
That's the wrong mimic. That's the wrong mimic, Cheelish.
This is the Prime, right?
That's the Prime.
The right one.
That's the right mimic. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Are you guys like it at 150?
Oh yeah.
For Tentpole, that's what we were talking about. He's good at 60 for sure.
Much better at 150.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of just different.
The other there's a good rally one that he gets to remove it to free attack. I don't remember which one it is. Warpath, maybe?
Warpath. I don't think he's good though. It's the rest of everything.
Good. Anything that has attack for free is
I get it.
To be looked at.
What was I gonna say? Oh, do you guys like Destiny at all? The rare? The prop?
Yes. She's the one with the global prop, right?
Yeah.
Remove a
global prop
is always
that you can use
good.
as many times as you want a turn. Long if you have 5 rally dice, you can roll it 5 times globally.
Mm-hmm. And that's always good, right? So it's worth.
You also have like, what is it, the Professor Action of Fast Forces that lets you just like automatically load a die.
I was gonna say Moira. I was gonna say Moira.
Is that Moira that does it?
Moira
does
power action
rally, right?
Yeah, and then you have the double TK one, right? If it has a rally on it. TK is free if it's rallied.
Polaris, I think.
No, that's Marvel Girl.
Marvel Girl.
I think it's 003 Marvel Girl.
Oh yeah, Polaris pushes.
Yeah, Polaris.
She's knockback for 6 squares, which is arguably better than TK, depending on the situation, right?
I think it's 5 squares.
It's 5 squares. Yeah.
Yeah, she can knock back friendlies or opposing. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. So you can knock somebody back and then have that person who was just knocked back TK, which is also a thing.
Okay.
Like she could knock herself back 5 squares in the direction of her choice, and then she could power action TK.
Do you think that? I mean, I was just thinking about this. Of the 90 to 100 point range figures that are out there, do you think that Emperor Gladiator takes the number 1 slot over like Captain Marvel?
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
They're so different.
That's a different thing. Yeah. Emperor Gladiator is very good. Like, there's no doubt he's very good.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think it's going to be great as well, but it's kind of hard.
And again, Gladiator has swap tech, right? Mm-hmm. So he only has to be there for matchups that he is going to be good in, right? Captain Marvel does not have that luxury, right? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I guess they're two totally different figures. I don't know. I mean, they're both in that range though. Like if you were to like rank the top 90 to 100 point figures that are out there, like how would you rank it?
I would personally put Captain Marvel higher because I am an aggressive player and she's aggressive. But right, I don't know if that necessarily means she's better. She's obviously, I think she's underplayed right now. So I think it's like 1-1A.
Although I
type
do
thing.
think Captain Marvel takes a big hit from the change in hypersonic. Though.
Not a ton, right? Because she
Yeah.
still gets
The lack of breakaway,
That's
the
what I'm
lack
saying,
of
yeah.
the lack of
Well,
plus to breakaway matters.
I don't know how
Right.
often she was really punching, right? I mean, yeah, you can tie her up now, but like you can still hypersonic move through someone and then shoot them because she has a decent range value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 7. But that's kind of true. When I actually played her, I played her with the symbiote to just give her auto breakaway because I don't want to deal with it. So
Makes sense.
Watch listed figures. What do you think right now? I mean, with the current meta the way it is, what do you think would be something that you think should be watch listed, if any?
Molecule Man.
Oof.
He should only convert a
No.
D3, not a D6.
Should you thinking? Should we like roll the dice in half?
half.
Yeah. I think he's too good making 6 free squares a barrier. Like, it's easy to say he's not that overpowered until you go against one that goes like 5-5-6 in 3 consecutive turns.
Matty.
I think Sky Tyrant should get a watch list. The fact that he can like hit things like multiple things with Flurry, Exploit, Quake, and then just run like 12 squares away seems a little insane.
What about Scarab?
I don't think
He's-
Scarab's bad.
No.
He's hardly seeing any play. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
just-
I mean, like let's ask that question real quick. 'Cause, I mean, well, everybody who was there. I mean, Secret Six, like full build Secret Six that we saw in Modern.
Did you see a lot of secret?
Did anybody go
teams?
against them? I never went against one the
I
whole
mean,
time.
There
I'm-
were
I
3.
played one.
There were
I-
3 in the field.
I played a monster team, Caleb Reddick, round 1. Round 1 of silver, I played an 800-point Secret 16. Or not 800 point, a 500
What?
point.
I was like, how did you get that swap?
a 400 point Secret 16 with like 8 figures on it. And it was okay.
That was silver though, right? That was not
It
modern.
was silver. Man, I the problem with giving Sky Tyrant watch list is 90% of what he does that is good is just a combination of standard powers. Right? Like
Well, the fact that he gets
gets
to just retreat away.
the movement away I can hear, right? The res token, I can see making the res token like a max 1 or a max 2, right?
If they want to change him, I would. I don't think he needs it, but if they did, I would say maybe his move thing, just make it once a turn, so you can only move 6 away.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That'd be fine.
It's
But
like
again, I'm not sure he needs a change. He's just really, really good, but he's not broken. I wasn't going to have an answer, but I actually agree with Wes. I think that the Exodus thing might be too much. It's obviously early and nobody's played it in an actual event, but it just rings as an exploit to me and as too good. I could be wrong. It could be nothing, or not nothing, but it could be not as good as I'm thinking it might be. But that's what I would have on just to look at.
Right. So when this like tech first came out, right? I wrote it off immediately. Like, I saw the interaction, I told the guys, and then I was like, it's too risky, we can't play it. And then all of a sudden Magneto gets spoiled, and now that makes it like god tier.
Yeah.
Because now when it's not good, you're just not playing it.
Right.
So,
Right.
because like another point that didn't get brought up with the Gene Bomb, as it was explained, she gets to pulse wave after she gets there. So it's not just the 3; you're then hitting everyone for an additional 1 on the follow up. So it's actually 4 to a whole team. So
How
like,
are you getting full map reach without moving her? You TKing her twice?
no TK and then tempo.
Oh, and tempo. Okay.
And
I
she
thought it
was
was like going to be, like I was saying earlier, it's going to be like one of those crazy pieces
Well-
that show up everywhere.
Wait, she's got to move 11 up. Does that work?
so you start on a 4x4. Like, you're only doing this if you win map, right? So you start on a 4x4. So she's in row 4.
It does. TK sidestep, and then the plus
And
3 gets to 11. Yeah, that
Yeah,
would work.
and you have a Magneto 25-point mags. It's your TKer, so you actually get the additional square.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So it's just like you can just park her in like row 2. And then
Yep.
also the other thing is if the 3 is good enough, you can just use her action to run home.
Yeah.
At +3 speed.
What were the most played figures in the Clix Cup that you think might
Flash.
be?
Flash.
I don't know if he's watchlisted, but he was.
Do you think he should be or?
No.
I know.
No.
I think he's really,
People
really
are
good.
arguing to buff that piece. It's so weird to see.
What?
Like people are hating on the fact that he can't do like 2 charged basic attacks.
Oh,
Right?
I just think
And
that's
people
weird.
are saying like that he's unplayable or something because he doesn't work that way, and I'm like, shut up.
Oh.
He's still one
I
of the
think
best.
he
pieces in the
should be able to
game.
do 2 charge
Oh, you think so?
regular attacks with Jason still be like mind control everybody. Yeah.
Unbiased opinion there.
Well,
Yeah, Matt, you don't get to have
100% unbiased.
Hmm.
I really
That's
like the new rules changes and everything, but like one thing that I'm noticing, and we were talking about alpha striking and how like there's a lot of alpha strike out there, and there's basically 24 squares of map is basically 0 squares of map now. I think that maybe one of the reasons for that is because of the no penalty to carrying now that they with the rules change.
I mean, that helps a lot for sure.
Well,
I don't think it's a big deal.
Flyers carrying flyers, I think, is probably the biggest offender, because that's a massive change for everything. Also, they gave us another super TK with Flash, and they also said everybody gets Green Lantern team ability, right? So Green Lantern team ability being as common and as accessible as it is, I think is a pretty big contributor to that.
To be clear, common and accessible means 2 figures in modern that are playable have it, but that's enough.
Well,
I agree with you.
There's 3.
Well-
There's 3.
Team
But
Lantern.
Do not
Teen
hate on-
Lantern is not good because Chip is a thing.
No, because
What?
Team Lantern has different keywords, is less points, and has free barrier. In what world is that not good?
And
The
you
world
you
where
drop
Chip
off
isn't
the
there.
barrier.
I don't think it's ever worth it to play her over Chip.
Depending on keywords, depending on need, right?
What does she have? What keyword does she have?
Scientist.
Scientist.
Oh, okay, that's fair. All right. I'll give it 2.5.
So, and more importantly, that instantly makes her themed with Flash, right? Which again is not nothing.
Yeah, but don't forget also if you have the Green Lantern team ability now you don't get -3 for carrying everybody.
right.
You can just carry everybody and full speed.
I actually like Team Lantern a lot. I mean, I'll be sorry. I mean,
I'm not.
having the PD sitting there with you at the same time,
Mhm.
throwing the barrier out there, and then having Prob off that barrier is nice.
God, Tyler, you made Brandon feel bad. Apologize to Brandon, Tyler.
I was excited when I saw Teen Lantern spoiled. I'm like, wow, this is such a good piece. And then Chip was spoiled like two days later. I was like, okay, well now I'm never playing Teen Lantern. So I'm not saying she's bad. I'm just saying that we have a better option.
Yeah, you have the point economy there is favors Chip's side of the house, right?
Oh, no question. The construct makes a huge difference.
Mhm.
And if it's a non-theme or if it's a theme that favors Chip, I will more likely going to play Chip over Teen Scientist. But Teen Scientist does have her uses.
Do you guys think Maggot should get watchlisted or?
No.
I don't think so.
I mean, if so, it just needs to be he can't eat them the same turn they generate them.
Man, that would make him so much
Yeah, just not
worse.
the double free.
That would make him so much
Uh,
worse.
Yeah, it would.
I-
It would still be playable.
My biggest problem is that he can poison. It's Shredder-esque, right? Especially in this meta. Like I can kill things without having to roll. That's generally not supposed to happen in Heroclix. So that's my biggest problem with him.
Win a world championship using a Mace Shredder, I think.
I don't think
was that.
I don't think that happened.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think the problem is Maggot. I don't think it needs to be eroded either. I think that it's mostly the whole carrying thing that's enabling that kind of a.
It definitely helps. I think we hit on it earlier. The biggest change that's helping it is the theme team, because before, if you go up there with a 14 attack, you're probably going to hit that attack, but 5% of the time you don't, and then you just lose. And now if you have that guy that's attacking has a theme prob now, so it's a much lower. It's like a 0.03 or something.
Yeah, Maggot
At
has
least
prop and
one.
Dog can theme prop. Like that's
Yeah, that is a huge help.
Yeah.
The most, in my opinion, besides the fact that the pogs can, poison, then go away, which in and of itself is, I will use the term oppressive, but not in a way that it deserves errata, but it is definitely something that should be taken seriously. The second most annoying thing about Maggot is just the length of his dial. Right?
I don't know how he's 40 points.
The 5 clicks for 40 points with what he does is just absolutely massive.
Mm-hmm.
Especially right now with everything being 2 clicks, right? And Sky Tyrant just quake some teams and kill them all, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Sky Timer that comes in and hits a bunch of stuff and does this quick twice for 4 damage, technically all the way through, right? The next thing you know, he's sitting there with like 3 to 4 res tokens sitting on himself, going, "All right, here we go."
Yeah, so five clicks just seems like way it's like 2.5 times most figures right now.
No. I mean, that goes back to like what we were just talking about with the Gene Bomb, right? The Gene Bomb hits you for that much damage, it's going to wipe out the majority of your team, right?
Maggot survives the Gene Bomb, even the Pulse Wave, right? And that's not nothing.
I will say this though, like with the rules changes and like even like with the powers and the points and all that stuff. I mean, going to like somebody who's a newer player out of it is just having so many figures on the board at the same time. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I have fun. I can actually show off my collection versus just running one character and like 2 backups the whole time, right? So.
All right, so one thing else also that I wanted to ask everybody was about legacy figures. That's a new thing in Heroclix is legacy cards. What figures would you like to see legacied? Soon, and what tweaks would you make to that character, if any?
Phoenix 5 chases and the Web of Spider-Man Nightcrawler.
Say that again.
God.
What was the first one, Matty?
I would like the Phoenix 5 chases to be legacied at like half their point costs.
Okay.
And I mean, in all honesty, I would like the Web of Spider-Man Nightcrawler.
Matty, they're never
the
gonna
legacy card.
Nightcrawler. Like, there's no way they're gonna do a champ figure, right? Because then that'd be showing some type of bias.
I guess
It's possible.
it's possible.
I don't see that ever being.
Unless the person who won it was the person who built it. I don't know.
Well, like if you do the Heroclix for Huntington's, design a legacy figure.
Yeah.
That was my plan.
You know that they will tell people no, right?
No.
Well, I wonder if you won the world championship and you asked to create a legacy figure, if they would let you do it. Actually,
Probably not. Since it's like very explicit in the winnings.
Yeah.
So what would you do to Nightcrawler or to the Phoenix 5? What would you change them? Just lower their point cost?
Just lower their point cost.
For the Phoenix 5, yeah, just lower their point cost so that you can like play them
Period.
in competitive and casual. And then Web Spider-Man Nightcrawler, I would just lower his point cost a little bit, and then I would just have fun.
Okay.
It was like the first piece that I like played when I got back into like competitive. So, and he's like my favorite Marvel character.
PJ, what would you legacy?
Probably Uncanny X-Men Iceman.
That's a really pretty sculpt.
It's so good looking, and like I would probably drop him down to like 100 from 110.
Let me actually pull these up. So let me see. So this is let me look up Nightcrawler first.
Yeah, the Iceman sculpt is just one of my favorites in Clix. Otherwise, it's Bane, right? Like the breaking of the Bat Bane. But I don't know how I would change him, and I know how I would change Iceman, so I went with that one.
Which one is the Nightcrawler, Matty? Which one is it? It's
Web of Spider-Man.
So Web of Spider-Man is 86
okay.
points.
That's a good looking sculpt, though.
And a 19 defense with super senses and shape change in Web of Spider-Man was just absolutely oppressive. They didn't have the attack. They didn't have the attack values that we have now. So that 19 defense definitely meant a lot more. Not saying that 19 defense doesn't mean anything now, because it genuinely does. But back then it was just like, look at me, I'm going to troll you.
And then what was yours again, PJ? It was
UXM Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look.
051 Uncanny X-Men Iceman. I would take him from 110 down to 100, make both of his defense powers stop clicks, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, so he's got barrier, regen. Okay.
Make it just stop because like they're awkwardly placed defense powers to have. I mean, regen on last clicks obviously makes sense, but I think if those were stops, he would be semi-playable. I mean, even at 100, he's probably still not playable. He'd probably have to be like 75 with 2 stop clicks to be meta. But I don't know. I think those definitely need to be stops, and then his damage power is fine as is, and his frozen solid trait is awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, so frozen solid. When Iceman moves after actions resolve, you may make a close attack targeting a single opposing character whose square he moved through and didn't target with an attack that action. If you hit, attach the ice wall marker to that character, removing it from any other character. As long as the ice wall marker is attached, that character can't be moved, placed, or given actions, or targeted with an attack. At the end of the next turn, remove the ice wall marker. That is really cool.
Yeah, so you can running shot through someone, shoot somebody else, because he ignores characters for movement. So like you can't even really tie him up. And now with like exospecs, you can give him hypersonic, right?
Yeah.
And it is a free attack when you move through them, so it is for damage, right? Like it's
So,
I don't know.
All
It's
right.
one of my favorite pieces.
And the sculpt is amazing too.
It looks so much better in person. Like the pictures don't do it any justice. Like the whole that like swoosh is around him, completely encircling him, and it's just one of the best sculpts they've ever done.
Does anybody else have a legacy card that they have in mind?
So I'm like really junior with this. Like everything legacy with mine is like going back to like what if, right? Because my collection starts there. But I did spend some time looking at it. I actually did fall in love with like the JL 52 John Constantine, just taking away everybody's problem.
That's a good piece, man. That's a
really good piece and a good sculpt
So
too.
I mean, it's got nice mystics on it. It's got like I would add a couple keywords into them. No, it's number 19. Yeah, right there. So his sculpt's nice. I would drop his points down a little bit, put him down to 50. Mm-hmm. But like just like taking everyone's prob away. So like I like how you spent all your time building a theme team so you can have a theme team props. Sorry, can't have them.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And he's got the mystical keyword, which is awesome going forward. So.
And Justice League's real good.
Yeah. I would change him up a little bit, like just try to like do some like with the sheer cunning, maybe like I did like I will steal your stop click on there. I think it would be nice to put a stop click, but at the very end. But I mean, you're gonna burn through him pretty quick when you hit him. So just keep him in the back.
Wes or Tylor or Matty, you have anything that you're thinking about for legacy? Matty, you already said. So.
I'd bring back Copycat. No changes.
Oh,
Tyler,
I just threw him in my mouth a little bit there.
That's like I'd bring back Felix Faust.
Yeah. No, it's different, okay? Because they never errated Copycat, okay? WizKids thought she was fine, all right?
I'll bring back Justin Seifert.
Justin Seifert.
Oh,
that would be amazing, especially with Master Mold.
No. How about no? You sir did not live through the era of Krang Bang. That was garbage. That was hot.
No, but I played at a local venue that doesn't ever ban him, so I'm like,
Golly, man, I would play that all the time. Just
Frank,
here we go. I'm gonna do it again.
Sprang tank before the errata to the tank was one of the most fun teams I have ever put on a map.
Oh my god.
Matt is
It
just
was
shaking his
it
head.
was fun for exactly one person in that game.
You're right. Oh, you're so right.
So, Wes, what's your legacy card choice?
Well, so I guess I'm actually fortunate in that the one figure that I wanted to be legacy carded is getting a legacy card.
Okay.
So GSX Magneto, he was my number one. I wanted him to get a card.
Yeah.
I guess I'm okay with what they did with them. If I had to choose a different one, it'd probably be this chick right here. White Queen. I did a lot of stuff with her, and I feel like she could, lower her point cost a little bit, give her something attacky to do on that stop click, and she's probably good to go.
Which one is that? Which White Queen?
It's the 122 point White Queen. Is she not in Clix Nexus? Oh, there she is. Yeah.
She is.
She was Ollie. She was a weird one.
She was
a
good
weird
for
one.
she was kind of like a call-in battery, right? Or no?
Yep.
Am I wrong? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm super happy with the idea of the legacy cards. Like, it's a great concept, and like you get to like play with like old pieces or like old favorite pieces that you like have on your shelves. But someone needs to say to WizKids with Power Creep, like all of the legacy cards, the pieces need to be like undercut 50 to 100 points minimum.
Well,
like
so
none of them. Be honest though, none of them are playable right now because they're too high points.
So,
besides
what about
the
Cyclops?
rookie Destiny.
Disagree.
Well, Cyclops
so
and Destiny. Sorry.
The first two sets that they did it in were good idea, poor execution. I think this set they actually did it pretty well. There are obviously some bad ones, but there's a lot of good stuff in here.
And I do want to say, go ahead, finish.
I was just gonna. Destiny is good. Cyclops is good. Sentinel will probably see some play. And then that I don't mind that Magneto in 3. He's not like the best, but I think
he should have been like 100 points for like 125 max.
No.
Look at him compared to like other pieces in the current meta.
I think you can get away with 150.
But they don't all.
150 could be, yeah. I think this one was good. A lot of these pieces are playable.
And I think
they're making legacy cards for pieces to bring them back and play. No one's going to play that Magneto. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, they will. But it's not.
They can play
Matty,
but he's too
Matty,
many points.
I think it's important to remember the audience, right? And WizKids, they definitely gave the competitive people some figures in this legacy set, a la Destiny and Cyclops. Is Magneto the most competitive legacy card ever? No, but he is fine in a casual format, right?
Well,
He's a hell of a lot better. Hell of a lot better now.
I agree. He's obviously better. I kind of want these to be more geared towards the meta because casual people can still play that Magneto.
But no, they can't, right? Because a lot of venues still do modern and Silver Age events.
That's true.
And now he is.
I will say this though. I mean, with like seeing like the first two sets of legacy cards and then seeing the new set that's coming out for X-Men, I'm very excited to see what they do with the Fantastic Four and Avengers set coming out with Empire, right?
Empire,
so like, that gives us a massive spread of everything.
Zombie
right?
Super Skrull. Zombie Super
No.
Skrull.
No.
Can you guys
I wasn't even around at that time. I say no.
What I was saying is it's much better that they started weaker and are gradually making them better than making them broken and a bunch of people throwing a fit the other way and then them pile it back. Like, this is another props to design where thankfully they're gradually getting better, and that's the way to go, right?
Yeah, there's 3 that are going to see play, I think, from these 8 or however there are. Cyclops, Destiny, and Sentinel, I think, are all going to see play.
I actually like what they do with Sentinel, where you don't even have to roll the dice anymore. You're just putting in what click you want it on.
Can I ask you guys though, why am I playing the Sentinel ever? Why is this good that they made this card? Because I don't understand it.
So
just with Master Mold coming back.
Well, yeah, but but I would always rather have 2 Pogs than one of these guys every time.
I think.
Well, you can put this guy on force.
Hmm?
You can just, I mean, you can play this guy on force, right?
Yeah, but
And he gives you,
he's not good. There's way better Sentinel and Robot fluff.
his
I mean,
perplex style's fine.
A perplex dial is not bad for the points, right?
Ew.
And also just the versatility that he brings, right?
If
Again, matchup dependent, depending on who you're fighting and what you need. And also one reason why I'm particularly glad that the Sentinel got a legacy card. We have to remember Master Mold, even though we were just now getting him, we were supposed to have him over a year ago, right? Remember that original Twitter post that showed Master Mold next to a Sentinel, right? We were supposed to have him a long time ago, right? So extending Sentinel's legality, I think is a nice nod to keep that together, right?
I definitely
Because-
understand that for like casual, but I'm just saying for the meta, I don't see any reason to ever play this in meta. If I'm playing robots, I'm not playing the 25 point die. I'm playing Mad Thinker for 20 points. He has that win as well. Like,
But he doesn't have Sentinel, right? And Sentinel is what spins your dial on Master
yeah,
Mold.
if I'm fluffing Sentinel, like,
Right. This is like you're not playing him on like with 25 point Master Mold, but if you're on like 75 or higher, you probably want 1 or 2 of the Sentinel.
I think
And
there's-
again, to Wes's point, it does extend the legality of the piece, right? Because now it'll survive an additional rotation.
yeah, for generating, I guess.
Well, I mean, the
but
way I
never
imagine-
generate it.
The way I imagine the reason why they made the Sentinel, from at least in my mind, is that just the theminess for like collectors and the comic book people is that they needed a colossal Sentinel in an X-Men set, and they wanted to extend the legality of it.
That makes sense.
And one other point, just on sort of the unfortunateness, whatever, of the timing of the release of Master Mold. Had COVID not happened and everything came out, you know, the in a perfect world the way it was supposed to, right? We would have had Master Mold at the same time of legality as a Tri-Sentinel, right? So the power tier that Master Mold would have been on would have been an order of magnitude higher, because it would have been pre-errata Tri-Sentinel with Master Mold, right? And I don't think that the Master Mold we're getting is obviously the Master Mold that we should have gotten, right? And so this is the consolation prize, in my opinion.
You know, I about legacy cards just in general, I wanted to say something too. Is I there are some figures I'd like to see legacied that I wouldn't mind taking a nerf from, just like a pure nerf, like, but like of characters that I liked that were really good, you know, like the Hawkeye, Chase, which
He already got nerfed. The rules nerfed him.
Yeah, the rules nerfed him. Yeah, I would love to see him redone, and I'd love to see Groot, the Groot Colossal redone, because that was, you know, your 20-point leadership for Cosmic teams, you know, but maybe nerf him.
I'll agree with you with the Groot one. That would be a great call.
I don't think he needs nerfed. I played a monster team in the Heroclix for Huntington's event. I didn't even play Groot, so.
Yeah, I think he would just be perfectly fine to get a legacy and stay the exact same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the only nerf that I was actually thinking of changing about him was that trait that gives him +1 attack if he's on a if he's not on a theme team or something like that. Maybe just take that away.
Guardians theme team.
Yeah.
Not on a Guardians theme, yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically a Guardians team, which, you know, we're so
Nobody was playing him on anyway, so yeah.
right.
But so let's talk about Master Mold for a second. I mean, so you guys were saying he's. I mean, would everybody agree that he's definitely going to be meta, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how exactly does he work that makes him so good?
He's a 25-point leadership that fits on Liberia.
Yeah, he's just a cheap leadership that happens to also be able to generate dudes, and also has Stop Mastermind. Like, all of that is good. Stop Mastermind is just inherently amazing.
So he, like, just blank, he he's good enough just with like leadership, outwit on that can fit on good themes, right? Robots are playing Jim Hammond right now, right? So like,
right. If he didn't have the factory dial, right? If he couldn't produce things,
yeah,
he would still be playable.
Yes.
He would still be good. But the production just kicks him over the top, in my opinion.
It almost makes him, probably not like a win condition, but like you have to engage me or this game is going to get much harder for you.
And not for nothing, he doesn't have Colossal Indifference and has 10 attack Pensai, which is not nothing.
And 8 range. It's not
with
awful.
8 range double bolt, which again is not nothing, right? And because of the size of his base, you know, spin ring him out and go wee, right? Like you get pretty significant range.
Spin ring him like 8 squares.
He will almost never use his retaliation power 25. I would guess sub 2% of his games that'll come into effect, but he puts on the same kind of pressure as a retail, sort of, because he's a 25-point piece all the way in the back that you have to deal with, or else something bad is going to happen to you. In this case, it's a Cyclops Sentinel running shotting you, for 4 penetrating damage.
Even just getting to the 25 and making both pogs
is incredible. Yeah.
And the fact that if they attack at Master Mold or
speeds
trigger the retail, like you can make the Sentinel pogs. To just
like what is it turn your second turn you're already producing?
No, I think it's turn 3 at best.
Well, no, turn 3 is when you can get 50 points if you're looking at
it. I thought Clix 3 was the first.
No, so if you hit your first leadership, you're at 0. Second leadership, turn 2 at 25. Third leadership, if you hit it, obviously is at 50. So at 3 turns you could have.
There were 2 blanks. Okay.
There are 2, but you start on 1.
Oh yeah, duh. Yeah, that makes sense, man.
Yeah, you just click.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot you have to actually start on one of those clicks.
Mm-hmm. So it obviously picks up, and obviously if you make things and they hit, that speeds up the generation even faster. So it's something that you have to deal with that is not easy to deal with and is in the back and is 25 points. So it puts on a lot of pressure. It's very, very good. I think it should be on most Latveria teams, honestly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Latveria,
I think he kind of falls in with Molecule Man, right? Like what Wes said earlier. If he's on the theme or you're playing non-theme, you should probably be playing Master Mold.
The non-theme, I don't know if I agree with, because he competes directly with Commissioner, and I don't know, I think Commissioner's still probably better, and you probably don't want to play both. But you still could. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't say you're wrong probably for playing 2.
Why wouldn't I want to play both? Precisely.
Sure.
So
he's not even affected by Lord Doom, right? Like, sure, Lord Doom can stop you from making the pogs, but then you can just spin again and make something.
Darn.
Oh, no.
And those pogs are colossal too, right?
Yep.
And they're 2x2s.
Yep. One of them has sidestep.
And
go ahead.
Just throwing out a little tidbit about Master Mold, because his factory dial does generate from outside the game, he is not limited by rules of uniqueness or primeness. So, for example, if you wanted to just generate a bunch of stealth sentinels, you could do that. I don't know that it's good, right?
But
having multiple primes, you're gonna start seeing multiple primes.
It's a thing that you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that Master Mold is hopefully we can get one because those are really...
Hopefully he becomes more widely available. That would be nice.
I think we're already hitting the point where they're starting to be more available.
Really?
Yeah, the stores are getting them in now, so like they can run their events to get them out.
Yeah, but even then, that's one for each select store.
They're putting them up for $30 a piece. Don't you know that?
It's have one. I just said they are more widely available.
Do we think they're going to drop
them
the actual store like after a month or so?
Definitely not a month, I would say. Maybe later this year, but even then, I'm not sure. I don't know what they're going to do.
I also wouldn't be surprised if these are tied up on a shipping container somewhere, and that's why they only did one a store.
I don't know if I agree with that though, because we were supposed to get them like 2 years ago, right? So I feel like they should be here. Because I think the pandemic stopped like the events that he was supposed to get released at, and that's why. I
Yeah,
don't
but
think it
for a
was
lot
the
of
shipping
companies,
thing.
they don't want to receive stock that's sitting in, just in inventory, having to pay taxes on it, if it's just sitting there.
Maybe
They don't
so
want
they
to
just left
receive
it
it.
in the container. Could be. Who knows?
So, how many of you have actually won the world championship before? Or I know Tylor. I know Tylor for sure.
Team World.
that would be the only one, sir.
Well, Team
No,
Worlds.
Maddie won team. Maddie.
Worlds.
That count?
Maddie, I'm sorry, Maddie.
Well,
Maddie's
what
on
I'm
team.
what I'm getting at is like figure
Maddie's still
creation. So
Yeah, Matt and Tylor. That's it.
Matt and Tylor. So okay. So for this, obviously, this question's been asked a lot of places, but I mean, I'm going to ask it here. What would be the figure that you would create or design if you won the world championship?
I want to go first on this one.
Go for it.
I'm never answering this question ever again. So my answer is that I don't have an answer.
What?
But the last 4 times I've given an answer to this question, the piece has been made.
Oh, okay. Well,
So I wanted to make an impossible woman that did exactly what Leech ended up doing, that stopped you from picking a power. Then I wanted to make a Swamp Thing that shut off location bonuses, and then they made Minotaur. And then I wanted to make Voltron Iceman, and then he just pops up. Like I just can't answer this question anymore. I feel like it's a conspiracy, and they're out to get me, and I can't do it. So
that's
no.
fair. Yeah.
Oh
All
wait,
right.
no. I'm gonna make Spider-Man, so that then there we go. They can just make a Spider-Man. There we go.
Oh, okay. You're so kind.
Top out everything.
Brandon, what would you make?
I think I would actually I would like branch out a little bit. One of my favorite characters is like literally sitting on the wall over here in the office is Rocketeer. I would love to see a Rocketeer figure made. I think it would be epic. I'd actually like to see, since I didn't get to like I've said multiple times on here, I haven't get to live through the whole story of like Heroclix and all that. I would love to see something like just beautiful indie clicks of just like different superheroes throughout everything. All right, so like that's what I would like to see personally. Like I'd love to see an Omni-Man. So I mean,
Okay.
he's still going to be 275 points. Gonna call him in Superman sitting there, but so I would love to see Rocketeer. You can ask most of the guys. They know Rocketeer is like my first superhero.
Awesome. And then Wes?
I would probably do a Brainiac.
Which like kind though? Like the standard evil robot, like standard size.
I would like to, they really haven't used his like power over technology as a mechanic for him yet, because he could like take over any vehicle, any computer, any whatever, right? And they really haven't used that really as a mechanic for him, and I think that's an unexplored opportunity.
So like a Brainiac that like can do like almost like the same, like with Bastion's ability to be able to mind control another robot or a Sentinel.
Something, right? Like if they're playing a vehicle, I can mind control any vehicle, right? Or I could turn objects into robots or something.
Oh, that's cool. That'd be cool. Turn objects into like vehicles that are just like Wonder Woman's like 100 vehicles.
Turn an object into a pod, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's cool.
And so Matt and Tylor, I mean, if you had a chance to design another figure, what would you guys design?
If I already got my one that I like a lot, so I would just do a meme one. It would either be the Spider-Man pointing at each other, Wolverine in the bed with the picture in front of him,
That would be amazing. That would be great.
Or the Moon Knight that's just throwing everything and it's just random bullshit go, and see if I get that as flavor text. I don't know what they do. I don't know, figure that out.
And Matt, what would you do?
Well, I can't do Nightcrawler since he was already done, and I already got to pick the Flash. Hopefully they just get like some anime like license, and I'd be stoked to be able to do
literally
a different
anything.
anime piece.
Mm-hmm.
So would you add like
any anime
how many keywords would you have on it though?
Probably not a lot for anime, but I would try to fit as many as I can, just so we could like be played with like other modern pieces.
And do you know the keywords? That's the other question.
If I build my own teams, I probably would.
All right. So
Wait, did you get that question wrong?
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. In fact,
it was a long day. Also,
Yeah.
not only did he get it wrong, Tyler, I knew one of the keywords and he talked me out of it.
Wait, is this from like the trivia or in
Yeah,
the
the trivia. They asked it while
Trivia
it
of the
was
Clix
keywords.
Cup, right.
We missed Teen
During the
Titans.
banquet, they ran 2 events. They had like Scott and PJ ran a great event on. They did trivia through there, which like came up to the points at the end. I'm not trying to say who won or anything trivia, but our team ended up winning it. But then they also brought back like a fun, like a game I had never seen done before, but I've talked about it multiple times and never get picked for it. And that was Drunken Heroclix, which was hilarious watching it.
It was so much fun.
So who won the Drunken Heroclix?
Lucas and Holland.
Oh, wow. That just
It came down to Lucas and Tommy 1-on-1, and neither of them could really function. It was funny, like when we got to the final 4, you could see the 4 stages of drunkenness just looking at the table. So it was the last 4 were Richard Medina, Charlie Garst, Tommy Lytle, and Lucas Van Hollen. Lucas was so drunk he couldn't talk anymore. He was just sitting there solemn. Tommy was being a loud, boisterous drunk.
gave me a couple
looked
hugs.
Charlie looked like he was about to fall over, and Richard was just like, "I can't drink anymore. I'm leaving." And like they were at the all 4 stages of drunk, just at one table all at once. And
So
it was
he
amazing.
went from like aggro in the beginning to like turtle at the end then?
Yeah, basically.
That was an overall fun event, though.
Yeah.
Good job for you 2 for hosting that. So.
I didn't realize that Phoenix Nest has won both of those events as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think we only lost like one event.
it's a good weekend for you guys.
yeah, all in all, it sounds like an amazing weekend that you guys had at the Clix Cup. I wish I was there. I was on vacation myself, but I wasn't able to go. But I was really happy following it, and looks like a great event. And I'm looking forward to future events run by David Newmark and also judged by Joe Pangrazio from Clix Nexus, who does an awesome job all the time. I mean, did you guys have any standout moments from the Clix Cup that we didn't talk about yet? Anything? Yes, Matt.
Joe Alves, he lost only 2 games the whole weekend. He did phenomenal, and
Wow.
he talking about the other teams. He didn't play a theme team in either events, and I was the only person to beat him twice. I knocked him out in Modern in top 8 and knocked him out in Silver in top 8. But Joe is an amazing player, and he had great non-theme teams. So you don't have to play a theme team to like do good in competitive Modern right now.
He was Joe was actually my favorite to win the whole thing. Like going into the event, he like if there were a bookie for Heroclix, Joe Alves would have been the person who I bet on.
And what team is he on? Like what Heroclix team?
Oh,
He's on ours.
oh, don't worry about that. We got that.
I'm not trying to say I'm not favoritism. I'm just saying he only lost 2 games the entire weekend.
Yeah,
But he did really good with not a theme team.
Yeah, I would take issue with this, but I've literally never beaten him in Heroclix, so he's a very good Heroclix player.
Really, like, especially know how long he's been playing, but he seems to have picked it up really fast.
Yeah, I guess so. I hadn't
He
heard
was
of
great
him
to play
before.
with. He's overall a nice guy to talk to.
Yeah, he is for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely a fun guy to play with.
Well, thank you everybody for joining me on Coffee and Clix. I think we had a really great time talking about current events in Heroclix and talking about the Clix Cup. I really had fun talking with you guys. Audience at home, you've been watching Coffee and Clix. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy my content, and don't forget everybody, wake up and smell the Clix.